We know it's that time of year where there are rumors, there are trades, there are teams that all of a sudden seem like they're out of it and they don't have a chance to make the playoffs. There's teams that seem like a lock for the playoffs, and there's teams that are somewhere in between. And the Atlanta Falcons find themselves somewhere in between. And so they are going to be huge on the rumor mill for trades. And Bleacher Report just came out with an article. I'm going to tell you who it is. But before that, why don't you go ahead, subscribe to this channel. If you want more Atlanta Falcons content, do it. We love talking about the Dirty Birds, and we are Lions fans. As you can see, there's a lion back there. But we love teams that the national media ignores, and we love the NFL. So we wanted to start talking about them. So who's the guy? Who's the guy that you are rumored for? Who's the guy that we're trying to get to Atlanta? Well, it all starts with, what is the one position that you're most concerned about? We saw what your team looks like when you have a 300-yard passer. All right. And maybe you still believe that Ritter's the guy. And I'm not convinced he's not, to be completely honest with you. But I do think there could be some more seasoning. I do think that this is a team that has all the weapons that they need. I really do, not named the quarterback. I think they are absolutely loaded around them. I think the defense is solid. So really, if you can just use that team with a decent quarterback, you'd be good to go. So Bleacher Report did an article, and there you see it. There's your guy. That's your guy, Falcons fans. All right, so here's the question I have for you right now. What would you give up for Kirk Cousins right now? What would you give up for him right now? And the Atlanta Falcons, I think, need to talk about this. All right. And in this video, what I'm going to talk about is what he could do for the team. And then I'm going to talk about who Kirk Cousins is. And I might do it in a completely different one. But here's the reason this is here. All pro wideout Justin Jefferson is heading to the IR. He's got a hamstring strain. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks. The Vikings are already 1-4. Now, their offense still was able to move because Kirk Cousins is good. The Vikings do not have a good offensive line. They, besides Justin Jefferson, do not have a great receiving core. Like, I'm not saying they're bad players, but without JJ, come on. No. That's not the team. That's not the receiving core that's going to be getting you things. Hawkinson at that time becomes their best pass catcher. All right. They don't have a strong ground game, mostly because of that offensive line, and they don't have a good defense. Enter the Atlanta Falcons. How is their offensive line? Check. How's their running backs? Check. How about their wideouts? They just traded for a wide receiver. All right. They just traded for a wide receiver, and they already have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. I just traded away Kyle Pitts in fantasy football. If they end up going to get Kirk Cousins, whoops, I messed that one up. Drake London, say hello to 100 catches year in, year out. If Kirk Cousins is your quarterback, the dude is unbelievable throwing to the tight end and to his number one wide receiver. It's unreal. If Kirk Cousins is the quarterback, your skill position players are going to play very, very well. So in this, and I love this photo that they used. I'm going to show you this. In this photo, they said the Atlanta Falcons should be the number one team that is looking to get Kirk Cousins. All right. And they're saying basically, I guess now that I'm reading this, they're saying exactly what I did. They are chock full of skill position players. But it's more than just skill position players, everyone. It is. All right, the Panthers, they played the Panthers week 1, they allowed 10 points. They played the Packers week 2, they allowed 24. They played the Lions, what's up? All right, in week 3 and only allowed 20. 23 to the 23 to the Jags and 19 to the Texans. That is a pretty decent defense, and that's a defense that's holding those teams when the offense is doing nothing. And so you look at it and all of a sudden you realize, like, man, how can we make this team a little bit better? Well, insert a Kirk Cousins, who I'm just going to give you some stats on this. Since 2014, so starting the 2015 year, He has only thrown for under 4,000 yards one time. One time. And he played 15 games that year, and he threw for 3,600 yards. It was his second year in Minnesota. Then they get back to the play action and all that kind of stuff, and he's thrown over the last 3 years for 42-65, 42-21, and 45-41. The dude can flat out sling it. Since he's been to Minnesota, he's only had under 29 touchdown passes one time. He had 26 and 19. He had 29 last year. Other than that, he's been over 30 every single year. Every single year. The dude knows how to play the quarterback position. If you go, all right, so let's just say maybe it's not just stats. All right, maybe it's not just stats. His QB rating has been good. But let's look at him in PFF grades, which just says, what do you do for what your role was? Quarterback, it's a little bit easier because it's, all right, who's the open guy? Did he throw it to him? Was it an accurate pass? All that kind of stuff. Since 2015, that was his worst year. That was in Washington. All right, so since 2016, he has not had a PFF grade under 70. If you're going 2016 to now, it's 80, 70, 79, 84, 83, 88, 77, and then this year he's sitting at 77. You could be saying to yourself, well, he's 35 years old. Like, how many more years does he have? Do you care at this point? Like, you have a team that's ready to compete. You have a solid defense. You have a good defensive line. You have a phenomenal offensive line. You have two running backs, rookie and second year, that are ready to run the ball like crazy. As Kirk Cousins gets a little older, you can rely more heavily on that run game. You have Drake London. You have Kyle Pitts. There's all these young guys. The time is now. Your window is 2 or 3 years. Your window's more like 5 years. But Cousins can fill 2 or 3 of those. He can. He's never been this rocket-armed quarterback guy. That's never what it is. He's never been that. So why do we worry so much about him getting older? He's just going to continue doing what he's doing. And the arm strength's not terrible, but it's never been good. He's always won by being good at play action, making the right reads, making the right throws, grading it out, holding on to the ball. So if he has an offensive line that can just protect him a little bit, which he does not have in Minnesota, I'm telling you, the sky is the limit for this guy. He could be even better in Atlanta. And I'm telling you, if they get him, if you get Kirk Cousins, not only you are an easy favorite to win the division. I mean, easy favorite. Nobody would even question that. So you're an easy favorite to win the division. And I think you are in a list of 5 teams that can be legit Super Bowl contenders. Or I'd even put you with 4 teams. I mean, you got the Eagles, you got the Niners. It's weird to put the Lions in there, but they're 4-1. I think the Lions are close, and I think you'd be right in that tier. I think you'd be right in that tier with the Lions, with the Seahawks, with the Cowboys. You know, these are the teams that I think you would be in that tier with, of that next group of teams behind Philly and San Francisco that could be in contention to get to a Super Bowl. And you never know what happens with injuries. Look what happened to San Francisco last year. Brock Purdy goes down after Garoppolo went down, after Trey Lance went down. Like, it was really rough for them. They're on a 4th quarterback. So, like, you never know what could happen come playoff time. So, yeah, go for Kirk Cousins. Do it. Don't even think about it. What would you be willing to give up? That's what I want to know. All right. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you on the next one.